Star Alex Eala takes center stage at the BNP Paribas Tennis Paradise in Indian Wells. And of course, Filipino fans turn out in full force to cheer her on.
Of course, I'm very grateful for all the support that's been coming my way. And it's really heartwarming to see that they really, they make the effort and they take the time to come out and to support, and it makes the experience for the player totally different.
Alex Eala has startled the tennis world and broken records in an unusual turn of events, inaugural game at the Indian Wells in 2026. The demand for tickets was so great that the prices reached unimaginable heights. And the outcome was an incredible $5 million in ticket sales from a single game. For the young Filipino tennis sensation, this is more than just an incredible accomplishment. It represents a significant turning point in the Indian Wells tournament's history. Ticket prices for Ayala's match versus Dayana Yastremska have reached previously unheard-of levels, setting a new benchmark for the sport. The enormous desire from fans to see Ayala make her stage debut caused the ticket website to crash. In recent months, there has been a noticeable buzz about Alex Ayala's ascent to fame. However, the world was completely enthralled with what transpired at Indian Wells. Tennis fans were clearly excited about her match as soon as it was revealed. It was also evident that this was no ordinary match when tickets started to go on sale. Everyone had been anticipating this battle. And it was just the initial round. As spectators from all over the world rushed to reserve their seats for what was going to be the largest spectacle in the tournament's history, the prices skyrocketed. That day permanently altered Indian Wells, which is regarded as one of the world's most renowned tennis tournaments. A game selling $5 million in tickets is not something that happens every day. However, it wasn't simply Filipino admirers that attended because of Ayala's allure. No, people from all over the world appeared to attend the event. At any costs, people from all around the world wanted to watch Ayala play. The anticipation was incredible, the excitement contagious, and the environment electrifying. This phenomenon surprised many people than just the fans. The tournament organizers were taken aback by the extraordinary demand, and many of them were rushing to make room for the enormous numbers of people who had gathered at the venue. Furthermore, this wasn't an isolated incident. No, this was only the start of what experts refer to as the Ayala effect. The tennis world has been completely upended by this phenomena. Ayala's star power is evident in everything from ticket sales to fan interaction, and everyone can see the effects. The numbers are accurate. Alex made an unprecedented $5 million from a single game. The tale of Ayala's debut at Indian Wells will be discussed for years to come. However, the money isn't the only factor here. It has to do with the change that is occurring in women's tennis. Ayala is growing into a formidable force. Her popularity has also far surpassed what was anticipated. The world of tennis is taking note. Ayala is also here to stay. Her ascent to fame is based on more than just publicity. It is based on outcomes. The stats are the proof. It's not surprising that Indian Wells became the most recent location to be enthralled by Ayala's magnetic draw, since fans have been swarming to see her play at tournaments all around the world. Ayala has consistently attracted the largest crowds in tennis, from the Australian Open to Miami, Dubai, and now Indian Wells. Furthermore, her presence is generating a movement rather than just buzz. When they hear her name, people who had no intention of attending a tennis match suddenly find themselves rushing to purchase tickets. One of the best players on the WTA circuit, Jessica Pegula, recently talked about her encounter with Ayala at the Miami Open. Her remarks attested to the electrifying environment Ayala has come to represent. Pegula anticipated a standard tournament experience going into the match, but what she saw was something very amazing. She had never seen a mob like this before. The intensity of the supporters' support for Ayala was simply amazing, and the electricity in the stadium was tangible. No matter where Ayala performs, the fan response is unmatched, according to Pegula, who called it insane. Fans flock to see Ayala play, whether it's at the Dubai Tennis Championships, the Australian Open, or the Miami Open. Additionally, they actively participate in her life rather than merely observing it.
Week after week, as she, has done well and established herself as a really good player on tour, they all come out to support her. And so I think we saw that in Australia when it was kind of overcrowded. They put her on too small of a court. We saw it here. You can hear it from the hotel. You can hear the crowd roaring, especially at night. So it's incredible.
Ayala's ability to attract such large audiences is evidence of the bond she has with her followers. She is becoming more and more well known, and it's obvious that she has emerged as a phenomenon unmatched in the sport. To watch her perform, fans will do whatever it takes, including waiting outside the stadium to experience the intensity of the audience, standing in huge lines, and spending hours attempting to secure tickets. That level of dedication is uncommon and demonstrates the significant influence Ayala is having on the tennis community. Fans are not the only ones who are observing. Ayala's remarkable development has drawn attention from even the biggest names in tennis. One of the greatest athletes of all time, Novak Djokovic, recently expressed support for Ayala, describing her as the best tennis player the Philippines has ever produced. The entire tennis world pays attention to Djokovic's statements because they are so powerful. Ayala's reputation as one of the most intriguing and marketable performers on the tour right now is further cemented by his admiration for her skill and ability to captivate crowds.
Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest.
Fans were standing outside the stadium at the Australian Open earlier this year in the hopes of seeing Ayala play. Many fans were unable to enter due to the unending prompts. However, that was irrelevant. Even those who were unable to purchase tickets stayed outside, taking in the ambience, the intensity of the throng, and the opportunity to witness something genuinely unique. Ayala has that kind of control over her followers. It's obvious that Ayala's fame will only increase as the Indian Wells 2026 competition goes on. Her first match sold an incredible $5 million in tickets, but that's only a taste of what's to come. With every tournament that goes by, Ayala solidifies her status as a world-renowned tennis player whose influence goes well beyond the courts. The tennis community is now compelled to acknowledge her enormous influence due to the unparalleled support she has received. The extraordinary $5 million in earnings from Alex Eala's first match at Indian Wells and the soaring ticket prices are unmistakable signs of the power this young tennis star possesses. The desire for her matches will only increase due to her unmatched popularity. Ayala is more than just a rising star. In the world of women's tennis, she is an unstoppable force. One thing is certain as the tennis community continues to marvel. Alex Ayala is here to stay. Her impact on the sport is indisputable, and the records she keeps shattering are only the start of an extensive and prosperous career. The world has spoken, and it's certain that Ayala will lead tennis in the future. What are your thoughts on Alex Ayala's remarkable ascent to fame? Have you ever watched a tennis match? Has a player ever generated this level of demand and excitement? What are your thoughts on the exorbitant cost of her match tickets? Do you believe that the opportunity to see such a momentous occasion is worthwhile? Are you surprised by the amount of support she has received from tennis fans worldwide as well as from Filipino fans? Given her capacity to attract such large audiences, do you think Ayala may represent women's tennis in the future? Or do you think other players might be stealing the show? How do you think the Ayala effect is altering the game of tennis? We would be delighted to hear your opinion.